nailed it.
I guess it's an honor. It's an honor just to be nominated.
It is an honor to be nominated.
Hey, I'm Bob.
I'm Jake.
And we are
Nailed It, the podcast. Season 2.
Season 2. New year, new us, or some bad cliche. Now, not only season 2, and not only Nailed It the podcast, but award nominee.
Yeah, and we are officially CPMA nominated
music podcast.
Yeah, music podcast.
Which is pretty cool because, truth be told, I'm not really sure how we got on that list.
Yeah, it was very surprising when I got the message. Well, it was in our group chat when we got the message from Lauren that said, "Hey, you guys were nominated."
We sure were. That seemed odd to me, but I guess I just don't look for the attention of it. I never thought that someone would be putting us on a list with podcasts about music and whatever we do here.
I didn't realize that there was a podcast category with the CPMAs.
I believe it. I want to say there was one last year, but I wasn't listening to local podcasts, so it didn't hit my radar.
Yeah, I followed it last year, like the CPMAs, but for a different category because I was going out for a different category, and didn't really take notice to there being a podcast category with it. And when we were told, like, hey, you guys were nominated, that was like, what the hell? What's this? Like, not only was I surprised that we were nominated, but I was also surprised that other people listened to the show other than the few that come up and talk to us.
Yes, we're surprised by our own audience. And I will say, one, thank you. It sounds like a weird cliche. It's an honor to be nominated.
Yeah.
But it actually is. It's kind of cool. Win or lose, it's kind of cool just to be put into something like that. We're going to go to the show, which is March 28th.
I think so, yeah.
It's a Thursday night up in Hershey, and we're going to go to the awards ceremony. And win or lose, I think we're going to have a good time.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
A lot of our friends are nominated for different things, too. So it's my first time going to the show.
Yeah, same.
So it'll be an interesting thing, and we will have some information on. I posted some stuff on our Facebook today about they discussed when the nominations, the fan voting, which is only a very small percentage of how you actually win. A lot of people think it's just like a popularity contest. I was actually under that impression the first year or so too. I wasn't informed well, and that's actually what I thought. So it certainly clouded my idea of what it was, but it is nothing like that.
Yeah, I actually was very appreciative of that post that they put out that really showed, like, hey, like, yes, we do still want you, the fans, to put your votes in, but they were very, like, transparent about it to say, like, it does help, but it's a small portion of the deciding factor.
Right, which is very cool. Again, win or lose, I'm glad we got the chance to be involved in it. And, all our friends. Good luck to all the nominees.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if that's the final list or if that's the list of people who get on the final ballot. I'm not.
What do you mean?
Well, it seems like some of the categories have a lot of nominees.
I did notice that.
And I thought last year, maybe this is a bad memory, but I thought last year it went from, this is the people who we want to put on the ballot, kind of, here's the nominees, to here's the people that are on the ballot.
Right.
But I don't know.
From what I'm understanding, if it's anything like last year, it just seems like they upped the number of nominees.
So there's more slots available to win.
Because I
more competition basically, so they allowed for it. That makes sense.
The first category I really took notice to was for best cover band, and last year I want to say it was 4 different bands, and then I think now it's like 6 or 7.
Well. And to be fair, in Central PA, where the basis of this, Hall of Fame is, and that organization, Central PA is a big cover place.
Oh yeah,
for
absolutely.
As much original music as there is, there's just as much cover or more. And it's nice to know that some people do still recognize that that's something that takes a skill and a talent.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I've been swimming uphill against that my whole career. So
right.
I'm not an original an original guy with a ton of stuff, and that's never been my thing.
Right.
I mean, even the songs you have, you're not. It's not like you're putting out album after album every year. There's some guys in this business and our music community around here who have dozen albums out over the last however many years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They just continue to put out, and it's just the same as guys who are doing covers all the time, playing out all the time. For me, there's still a certain skill level. If you can't play, you don't do it.
Exactly.
Or you should not do it. Speaking of which, original music, you just put a song out today as the day of this recording.
I
today,
did.
Today, folks, is January 29th while we're recording this. Our first pod of the year, and Jake was nice enough to release a brand new song.
Yeah, I released my song Echoes today. It was also one of the fastest written songs I had done. What was it? 2 weeks ago, I was under the weather with the flu and was just kind of like not bedridden, but I was stuck at home for about a week and didn't really have much to do. So I, just sat down at my recording station and just started playing around with different riffs and came up with this riff that I then just kind of built things around. And next thing you knew, I had this entire song written and sat down and I got it. And I actually used an idea from our episode with Ed Allison. I used some inspiration for lyrics through that Chat GPT with the AI.
The robots!
But I wanted to try and get more ideas from it because I will be the first to admit I am absolutely terrible at writing lyrics. I either write lyrics that are way too detailed or way too vague, and I can't get the point across that I want to get through the lyrics. So I used some Chat GPT to just kind of give me some inspiration and build off of that. So, disclaimer, I didn't just use AI to write me lyrics. I used them to help me with getting started in writing my lyrics. Once I did that, was able to lay vocals down, backing vocals, and other little instrumental parts I wanted to lay down. Then once I did that, went through the grueling process of, sitting there and mixing and mastering, which I know very little about. Once I finally got the mix and master that I was happy with, I sent the instrumental off to you. I sent the instrumental off to our friend Jimmy and got some feedback on it, and then I was happy with it enough to release it. From the few people that have heard it, they were fans of it. Some had said it was one of the better songs I've written in past times. So yeah, new song, Echoes, out now.
Let's not keep them waiting then, Jake. And how about we let them hear this new song of yours?
Hey guys, Jake here. Please enjoy my new song, Echoes, available everywhere.
I'd have to agree. It is one of your better, maybe your best song you have written to date.
Well, thank you. It's definitely one that kind of I won't say is the most like different from what I've written, but it definitely has a better structure and better riffage through it. Because going back to like the first quote unquote album that I did, it was just random riffs that I had that weren't really anything. And now you can kind of see the progression of this was me starting my writing process, and now this is where I'm at with the writing process.
Well, and as you said before we got on air, you pointed out that it has a Seether kind of vibe to it.
I think it does.
It very much does, although I would have come to that on my own, but you saying it put it firmly in my head too, which isn't a bad thing. I happen to very much like Seether, and I like the song. I think it's the right direction for you to go if you're going to go in a certain direction. However, I've noticed you kind of write a little bit of everything. Kind of genre, so wherever it lands you, it sounds good.
Yeah, and because one day I'll feel like writing something like that, and then another day I'll feel like writing something in the Beartooth realm of things, or I'll go in completely left field and write something that's like a classic rock song, or I think one time my brother and we tried writing a country song, and it just wound up not being anything. But like I'll
not enough yowdy y'alls.
Yeah, but I'll try and write anything. But it's more or less what I feel like writing that day.
That makes sense. I wish I could say I was like that. I did, however, my gig, my solo gig on Friday. Now it's the second time in the last couple of weeks I dug out an old original song and played it. Turns out that song changes how I play it every time. Everyone's hearing that now. I'm giving out the secret. No one would know if I was changing anything. But it's fun to once in a while do that and just have people have a reaction to it, even a little applause or, hey, man, that was really cool.
Yeah.
Like, thanks, because I literally wrote that 20-some years ago.
Yeah.
And I only wrote the lyrics, not even my instrumental. I'm just making a version of it that works. So
right.
It is nice to do that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And as I've probably said in all of every one of our episodes before this, I probably made some mention that if I was better at it, I'd do it more. But who knows? We'll see. I'll leave it to you. I'll just be the reviewer of your new stuff. That works for me. Hey, something we were talking about earlier on and we did not get to was about the CPMAs and our voting.
Yes.
They did release today when the fan voting, again, which is a small part of it, is. And I do want to make sure everybody knows on the podcast here because this will air right before it starts. Okay, fan voting begins Sunday, February 4th to Tuesday, February 13th.
Okay.
There will be an online voting link posted on 2/4. So that's when people can get fans of our podcast, and Jake and I are going to do some pretty heavy social media beatings.
Oh, yeah.
Brow beatings about, we would love for them to show our fans, whoever they may be, to show not only us love, but our other friends. Hot and Dangerous is up again for Best Cover Band.
Light the Lamps up for Best Punk Band.
Our friends in Gunmetal Gray are up for Best Metal Band, I believe. Not Cover Band, or are they up for Cover Band? I forget which one it is.
Yeah, it's one of those two.
Our friends in Lyndhurst are up for...
Yep.
It's not... They took them out of the pop-punk category. They're in another rock category, which I'm sorry, guys. I forget. No, it's some kind of rock category.
Okay.
Which fits them. They fit in just about anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
They are up... Lyndhurst is also up for... best cover of the year for Never Gonna Give You Up.
I love that cover.
Which is great. Gunmetal Gray, I believe, is up for best original song. Metal Song, maybe for Blood.
I think they're also up for best cover band with their Hotel California cover.
The best cover song. That's right. And I know their singer Dave Damone's up for best male performance, I believe.
Yep.
I know there's a couple other guys I've floated around that got some noms. A newer guy that I knew for years, a tattoo artist named Brian. He is now up for best new artist. He just started last year playing acoustic and singing like country blues.
Yeah.
And I keep hearing from our friends at the Falls, from Jenica, how great this guy is.
Mm-hmm.
I looked him up one night. They had a live video or somebody videoed him, and he is amazing.
Yeah.
I actually ended up hooking him up with Hot and Dangerous for an opener.
Okay, that's who that
back,
was. Yeah.
And I saw more video. Like, man, these guys that, like our friend Dave Gates, the guys that just, I don't think I'm going to go out and play.
Yeah.
And are just like, they must have wasted their talent for years.
Right.
I do want to get a shout out to Dave Gates. He now has a podcast as well that I'd like to promote for him. If he's listening, I don't know if Dave listens to our show or not. He has a thing called the Solo Musicians Podcast. He's diligent. He has like a once a week episode. He's up to 3 or 4 episodes now. And he does a thing he calls Thursday Thoughts, where he gets in for maybe 15, 20 minutes. I have something on my mind today. Here's a mini episode in between.
Yeah.
Dave has a voice for radio. Also, I think he could be a self-help guy. He just has that tone. But his first couple episodes are about how do you deal with drinking in a bar.
Okay.
He had a post up on his Facebook page about what are our feelings about using iPads at shows. It's all his experiences based around like what you do in the business, what he thinks works for him as a businessman, how to book and how to promote yourself. I highly recommend anybody listening to this that enjoys Jake and I just talking about our bands and stuff, or is into music or into the scene. Especially if you want to hear the background of what that is, and I suggest it to you, Jake. I know you probably haven't had a chance to
I'll
listen.
have to check that out.
Man, it's absolutely worth it, and thankfully he only started that in January, so we're not up against him at the CPMAs. Because I have a feeling that guy will be all over that award next year. He's been nominated for that stuff for Best Solo Artist and stuff before. He's got original stuff, does covers. For local podcasts, he's probably the guy. I will say the people we're up against for the nomination,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know any of those podcasts, but I do plan on making myself familiar with them.
Yeah.
Not
same.
just for a competition eye, because, you're curious who you're up against.
Yeah.
But if they got nominated, they've got to be worth something.
Not only that, it's cool to see that there's other local music podcasts around the area.
Right. And there are a lot of decent ones, too, I think, that focus on different things. And, you and I you've talked about doing a separate one yourself. I've thought many times about just sitting down and having like Dave does, having a session where, hey, I was thinking about this today.
Yeah.
But I like what we're doing, and I'll just keep it under that umbrella. I don't need a whole show to myself. Although, again, after this week, we probably should just start our own Beartooth podcast.
I'm okay with that.
I think we'd run out of things to talk about.
Never.
No, not ever. not one time. We went to see Beartooth this weekend.
Yeah, we did.
Ooh, man. I know we talk a lot about Beartooth in this podcast, but there's a reason for it. And I'm not even the hardcorest of hardcore in this room. That would be the guy who went twice in 1 week to see them.
Did.
Because he needed to do VIP, and the show we were going to was already sold out.
Yeah, I was like, yes, it took time out of my work week, but it was so worth it to be able to go and do the meet and greet and, finally meet them as a band and meet Caleb and all that stuff.
As a guy who got to do it once, but got to do it COVID style, so there were masks, there was no shaking of hands, we had to stand in front of them to take the picture.
Yeah.
Like, I certainly envy the fact that you got to do the real kind of meet and greet, but it's an experience. And the show, I mean, you got to see it twice in a couple of days, but for me, as we like to point out, that you're going to have trouble catching up to me for Beartooth shows.
Yeah.
But that was number 8 for me and my wife.
That was number 4 for me on Saturday.
And we found out was Tim's number 4 too. I had forgotten he's seen Beartooth 3 other times with me over the years. But that was the best show I've seen them do.
Absolutely.
Show, not just from a fanboy standpoint or a guy who wants to cover their stuff like we talk.
Yeah.
Tribute their stuff. It's just a cover band. Don't let them fool you. That was production, the sound, their musicianship, Caleb's singing, everything has gotten from the Below tour to this has gone through the roof.
Oh, absolutely.
And we technically saw the Below tour twice. Well, we saw them touring Below that album twice when they opened or did the co-headliner with
A Day to Remember.
A Day to Remember. The only new song they had was Riptide,
yeah.
which we saw the very first time they played it for an audience.
That was so cool.
But man, what a change in just, what was that? I guess that was 2 summers ago, wasn't it?
No, that was 1 year.
It wasn't this past July. It was the July before, or August. So it's been
Right.
a year and a half.
Yeah. So
It seems, and that's the last time we saw them.
yeah, that's the crazy part. It was a year and a half.
They did the Trivium tour between there, and neither one of us
Yeah.
could make that tour. So
we talked about it, if you remember that,
we did.
because we talked about leaving the campground and going over to the what was it? Not Silver Springs, or is it
The
Silver
Fillmore in Silver Spring.
Yeah.
But
but it
we
didn't happen.
thought better of it.
Yeah. But I will fully agree that out of the now 4 times I've seen them, this was the best they have sounded. They have performed, just as not just Caleb, but as a full band. They were fantastic.
Yeah, no, it was. I joked with you at the concert that I'm going to get T-shirts for us that say "You have Jesus, I have Caleb."
Yes.
But I mean, it was for all intents and purposes and jokes aside, it's an experience, and if you're as into them as we are, that was my Sunday church on Saturday night. I mean, I play all the time, and I don't go to a lot of concerts like I used to. Although this year I have like 8 concerts already I'm going to. It's everywhere. It's all over the board, from Beartooth down to seeing country at the York Fair and Ludacris. Like,
Oh God.
it's all over the place. But I forget what being in a room with people, all like-minded people enjoying the same music, how that can feel.
Yeah.
And even the opening bands, I would very much like to say something about Blind Theory. Or
Sleep
Blind
Theory.
Theory, Sleep Theory. Blind Theory was a local band. Good Lord. I want to say something about Sleep Theory, who I often mistaken for Sleep Token, not because of their music, but the 2 names get jumbled in my head.
They're both sleeping.
Both coming out around the same, like they have like the same time frame coming up here too.
Yeah.
But they impressed me as best they could with the sound they were given.
I thought so too.
I don't want to really get into a sound guy discussion, but it's been a long time since I went to a concert in a smaller club like that or a full arena where the opening acts got the quote-unquote opening sound.
Yeah.
But all 3 opening acts were victims of that.
Yeah.
Because when Beartooth won, everything was crystal fucking clear.
Oh, absolutely.
But Sleep Theory was awesome. I've heard their songs on TikTok and then, of course, found them on Spotify. Very much enjoy them. And I think they were, again, being the first band, they played, 5 songs?
They didn't play very many. I think they got a half hour.
Yeah, they got a half hour to play, and it was good.
Yeah.
And then it was Invent Animate was after that.
Yep.
Great, like, musically. Like, I love the heaviness. They had just some real heavy
Some
drops.
gnarly shit.
Got a weird thing going on. Like they basically have costumes. They have a uniform. They look like a 70s cult. They kind of look like the Bee Gees and Mad Max rolled into one. But they were another victim of, although I think it sounded cool, for me, the room sound was nothing but kick drum.
Oh, yeah.
It drowned out the vocals. It drowned out the guitars. Even when the bass player was just speaking to everyone in between songs.
It was very quiet.
Idiotically, in the city of Baltimore, said, "I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan."
I know.
And then everything he said after that, you couldn't hear because everybody was going boo, except me. I was like clapping my hand, like brave soul. I believe his whole thing was, "I hope you guys kick our asses,"
Yeah.
but we can't tell because you said the wrong thing first. But
Yeah.
even that was hard to really hear him.
Right.
And then we had The Plot and You.
I really enjoyed them.
I did too. I've only heard a couple of their songs as they came up on like Sirius. I will say, as with the other 2, not Sleep Theory, but I would not recognize their songs. I can't tell you what the songs were.
Oh, same.
Many a time when I heard a band before, then I see them for the first time like that as an opener. I'm like, oh, there's that song I like. I don't know that I couldn't pick out one of their songs right now.
Yeah.
Not because they're bad at them, they just didn't stick with me yet. I do think it's something I'll listen to again.
I discovered that, like, I knew of them through people like friends of mine, and just hearing them occasionally, and just hearing the name The Plot in You. The one time that it did stick with me though was on TikTok when I was hearing the call out of their song. I want to say it's called Forgettable.
Oh, that's ironic.
Yeah, and I feel bad for forgetting it because I do really enjoy that song, but it's the call out in that song, and I looked at you during during the show where they stopped and the whole crowd screamed it back at him, and I was hearing that snippet all over TikTok. And I think that's also what gained them as much, like, obviously they've been around for a while, but it helped bring them up to a Beartooth level, at least in my opinion, that with that song and becoming TikTok famous. And
Well, people can say what they want, but social media can be the devil. But for musicians, especially TikTok, if you don't, did I say tic-tac? What was that? Tic-tac. Where am I from? Boston? TikTok has a power to get you a minute or whatever, 30 seconds of a song, and you go find it.
Oh yeah,
I've sought out a bunch of bands, and I'm like, what is this? Because it gets suggested me for your page, and so if you can get something even 30 seconds of a crowd singing back your lyrics,
yep,
viral like that, then other people want to know what it is.
Yeah,
and their friends share, and I could see how that room. You're right. That room responded to them. They knew them.
Yeah,
but nothing like they responded to Beartooth. Like we've been, again, you and I have been to a couple Beartooth shows together. I've been to plenty from when they were just kind of getting their groove to now. They owned that room.
Oh, absolutely.
100% owned that room. And I'd said to Jimmy about while we were in the moment, he had made the comment when we asked him about being in Tooth of the Bear and doing a tribute and what we want to do. And he's like, I like the music. I'm into it. We got him into Beartooth basically. Yeah. Well, their music did that. We just said, hey, listen to it. But he said, I have to ask, is anybody interested in this? Does anybody even know who they are?
Right.
And I turned to him and I pointed when it might have been right after they opened with Sunshine and it got done. Everybody lost their mind. Everybody was singing along. And I was losing my mind because that's like my favorite song on that album. What a way to open a show. I said we weren't going to talk about this long. But I looked down, I pointed around and I said, you asked if people were into this, if there's an audience for this.
Not only that,
I'm telling you.
Not only that, this entire tour is almost completely sold out.
Yeah.
What was it? 5 dates that
5
they had
dates
left?
they had less than 100 tickets.
I would say they were all at like low ticket warning.
Yep.
So that right there shows that they are like there is a fan base for these guys.
I learned that because I ended up having an extra ticket because Lauren couldn't go.
Right.
We had planned on. I just couldn't get anybody to take it. And an hour before doors, we were sitting at the bar next door having dinner and drinks, and I put that ticket up on sale, on the resale, and I put it up for $100.
Yeah.
And I say that not because I was trying to gouge, but because Craig had said he looked for extra tickets, and minimum he was seeing was $135 to $150.
Yep.
I was like, I just throw it for $100. If it doesn't sell, I'm out. No big deal.
It sold.
Yes, IRS. I sold a ticket for more than it's worth. It sold. I had time to finish my meal and beer, go to the bathroom. When I came out of the bathroom, I pulled my phone out to check, and I had alerts the ticket was sold. Someone didn't hesitate to spend $100 on that ticket on a sold-out show.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to see them so badly.
Yeah.
Someone who had to be there within an hour if they wanted to see any of the openers.
Right.
Hell, who knows what it could have been. I don't know who it was, but it was definitely, to me, I've resold tickets. Sometimes I get extra tickets or I can't go, and I've sold them at the last minute, but not after they've been up for days.
Right.
I've never sold a ticket that fast to somebody I don't know. Never.
Right.
Which blew my mind that I spent 2 days trying to give it away on Facebook. Everybody's like, yeah, I love that band. I wish I could go.
Yeah.
That's not what I asked.
Yeah.
I asked, do you want to go? Don't give me a reason why you can't go.
Yeah.
First of all, sorry you're going to miss out.
Yeah.
But the power of that room, and I've only ever seen one time I've seen a band control a room, like a smaller size venue like Ram's Head, which it was Ram's Head, was Seven Dust.
Okay, that makes sense.
I've seen a lot of bands there. I Prevail did a really good job of controlling the crowd there, but that was when they were short their singer because he had surgery. So the guitar player pulled up for him so they didn't have to cancel, and it was great. Yeah. But they didn't have the same – there was something missing. Anybody who knew them knew. Yeah. Seven Dust, was the first time I ever saw Seven Dust was 20 years later than I should have, like every other band in that era. Right. He controlled that room like no one I've ever seen. And not at the same energy level. Beartooth is on a high, they're just on that level of get it going, let's do this. Yeah. But Mike, as a singer, and you can relate to this too, the thought of being able to control a room like that, and the guy in Plot and You did it pretty good when he split the room. Oh, yeah. He had a good control over the crowd for the moshing for that part of it. Yeah. But Caleb just had a control of that room for singing along, and I tell you to jump, you fucking jump. And nobody, in the crowd at least, obviously we were hanging in the back. I'm too old to jump my knees, except Craig. Craig was up there trying to touch him. that room, lived and breathed on what he said, and that's. I'm sorry, but that's something special in music.
Yeah.
And not only that, everybody knew the words.
Yeah.
Everybody was singing along. Even our friends Travis and Rachel, who went along as their first time seeing Beartooth, along with Jimmy, they knew enough of the songs they've gotten into it that they didn't know every old song or every new song, but the ones they did, they listened to it enough. They knew the words. They knew the words because they've listened to it enough on their own.
Yeah.
And I do want to point out that your least favorite song on the album they did without having his guest feature on there. He let the crowd do it.
Yeah.
I'm speaking of Better Me. It's not Jake's favorite on the album.
It's not my favorite, and I have to say this. I don't hate the song.
No, you said that when we reviewed the album, but you did say it is your least favorite on the album.
It is my least favorite, but I do still enjoy that song.
I was curious, one, if it would be on the tour, and I purposely didn't ask you about the show because you had just seen it, so I knew you knew exactly what the set list was. I wanted to have the surprise.
Yeah.
And I was curious if they do it and if he would just do the lyrics or he'd have one of the guys sing the other part. And the very first part that Hardy sings in that song, he gave it to the crowd.
Yeah.
And then he basically sang the rest of the parts.
Yeah.
And I did like the big video wall behind him. I love that bands do that now, especially in smaller venues because you can see it better.
Yep.
But they basically played the video.
Yeah.
So you saw him and Hardy screwing around in a golf cart in a golf course, but he brought that element of the guy that was on the song, the album, into the room, even though he wasn't there. And
yeah.
Everything. And that, too, their stage show, the backgrounds going on with Sunshine, which is probably the coolest one.
Yeah.
All the little dancing skeletons with the sunshine faces and, the brightness of the yellow against the black, what a way to open a show.
Oh, absolutely. That and the confetti and
the different color depending on what album or color it was. What song
the yellow
color.
Confetti for Sunshine, the pink for Better Me.
They did the bluish green Riptide, and then they did purple at the end for something, which is the Below stuff. They so thought out. Him changing to the different basically the outfits he was wearing in the videos.
Yeah.
That's just top tier. It's top tier.
Yeah. And again, I knew we weren't gonna I know we wanted to say we weren't going to talk about it for
we
too
had
long,
to talk about it.
But we had to. And I will say there's very few shows that I have been to that you feel the show emotionally as well.
I agree, and in particular one song, and I don't want to cry on the air here, but I mean
the same one we both.
But even my wife too. I actually got teared up a little bit. I've heard that song a dozen times in the last couple of weeks just because leading up to the show. I've heard it all these times since the album came out, and I get it. Still get an emotional response from it. There's something about the beauty of opening himself up, talking about his problems. Has been on all their albums, but there's a rawness to what that song does and a beautifulness to it.
Yeah,
that gets me every time.
There's now adding this one. 3 shows that have done that to me that I've felt an emotional connection to the point where tears almost happened, if not did happen. And I never thought Beartooth would be on that list.
Right.
But the 3 that have done that were Kiss, Stevie Nicks, and now Beartooth.
I don't know that I've ever been at a live show before now that actually made me feel that way, but there are songs that immediately trigger me just going to a weird emotional place.
Yeah.
And one that gets me every time, and I could be in the happiest of moods, and it doesn't bring me down. It kind of just makes me well up a little bit. Is 3 Libras by Perfect Circle.
Okay.
Something about that song and it just makes me. It takes me to a place that I'm just I feel like sobbing right now for therapy. I don't know why. And it's every time I hear that song.
Yeah.
And other songs can do that for different emotional reasons. Some songs are designed to make you feel that way, and that feels cheap. But everybody's got hit by some cheesy romantic song in the background of a movie you might like that you don't want to admit you like real well.
Yeah.
Or something like they're an album a love song you shouldn't be into, but you are.
Yeah.
Things like that. It's different for everybody, but I knew the minute I heard that song that it got me the first time through, and every time after that, and it almost became I could skip it, then I don't have to get sad. I'm like, but I'm not going to skip this song because I want to feel something.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I was curious if it would get me live.
Yeah. And
it really did. So and the fact that he was doing it when he came out, and he was standing back there at the soundboard, and we were 10 feet from him, whatever, 15 feet from him. Everything about it was just, it made it the whole experience different.
Yeah. I will say it was neat to see him go that direction because I feel like that's something we haven't seen many times with Beartooth is that he goes acoustic.
Right, and that was cool. He didn't need to play Mr. Brightside, but that's fine.
I thought that was cool.
I mean, it was fun. It was definitely fun, but it was not necessary.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of some of the other like key points of that show that really spoke. One big thing I really enjoyed was seeing how caring he was of the crowd. And,
Right.
One, when he stopped to make sure everyone was okay because he thought there was someone hurt, and then I don't know if you took notice to the little girl that was in the crowd, the one that had walked past us. She looked like she
Yes.
had to be like 4 or 5 years old. She was sitting on her dad's shoulders up by the pit. She was a little bit forward from the pit. And I want to say it was during Disease that Caleb just straight up stopped singing and was like, please be careful. I don't want to see you get hurt. Please go to like the side or something.
I didn't know what it was because I couldn't see her where I was standing because we were by the staircase.
Yeah.
So that side of the stage was a little blocked off.
Yeah.
I knew he was pointing out something. I just didn't know what it was. So
It
you
was
just
that
filled
little,
that in.
It was that little girl. She was sitting on her dad's shoulders, and surfers were going right by her, and Caleb cared that much that he just stopped singing and was like,
Right.
please, for the love of God, be careful.
It's something I appreciated that a lot. I think there's probably people that were irritated by it or whatever. Oh, why is he stopping the show? Don't be a dick. He's being a good person.
Exactly.
And we talked about this a little bit after when we hung out after the show, but I really appreciated that he made a point, and he has basically through his lyrics, he doesn't have to tell us that, but before they started Disease, he made a point that he's gone on this 4-album thing of better mental health for himself and his journey and where he is now. And
Yeah.
he said, I appreciate that not everybody's the same place at the same time. Some of you are still back where I was and so on.
Right.
And he doesn't have to say any of that. He can
Yeah.
get up there and do the songs, and we all know their story if we're there. We love Beartooth. We know what his deal is.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have to stop to explain himself. I do like when bands talk to people and give them a little bit, but we were there for the show.
Yeah.
There are people that are going to say, and I'm sure they have, I don't go internet trolling or anything, well, he spent 3 minutes trying to get that, person in the crowd, make sure they were okay, and then talking to that little girl and talking to the guy with the CD that came out of nowhere.
That was cool.
Which it was. And I thought all of it was cool, but there are people that would be like, well, they could have played a whole other song.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you how it goes. They have a planned set list, and they wouldn't have went off it anyway.
Right.
They have lights and video boards and things that have to be timed. They probably have tracks somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
I'll bet there's a click going into the drums, even though he's a phenomenal drummer.
Yeah.
Because of the background shit. Like, they're not going to deviate except for when the song starts or stops.
Yeah.
If you notice, when he was stopping to talk about that stuff, the song, they kept playing their parts. They didn't extend it or stop. He adjusted. In fact, in Disease, he didn't sing the one part, which that's my favorite Beartooth song. I'm like, oh, he's trying to help somebody out, but he skipped some lyrics. And the crowd, I thought, would fill it in.
Yeah.
But everybody stopped because, like, oh, Caleb's talking. What's he saying?
Yeah.
But he wasn't talking about the song.
And not only that, he didn't miss a beat coming back
No,
into
he
it
was
then.
right on it.
Yeah.
I mean, the professionalism of what they're doing now, and like you said, they planned that whole show, this whole tour around small venue, about clubs. They didn't plan this to be an arena show. This is a club tour.
Yeah.
And it showed. I really appreciated it.
Yeah. I enjoyed it when I saw it on the first time in Philly, and then enjoyed it even more in Baltimore.
One last thing I'm going to say about it, other than, again, phenomenal show, and if you haven't seen Beartooth live, you need to. If you enjoy what we enjoy or enjoy listening to us ramble on about it, trust me, you want to see Beartooth. But one thing I really liked from again, singer standpoint, a guy who goes to concerts and performs, he remembered the name of the 2 venues in Baltimore they played before.
Yeah.
He talked about how they played the soundstage, whatever he said, a dozen times, whatever, and he even remembered playing at Pier 6 at the amphitheater.
Yep.
He remembered. Now, whether or not he had to write that down somewhere or go, oh, I got to talk about that tonight.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel that way. It felt like he's
just
one of
felt
those
genuine.
guys like me who just remembers weird things about details.
Yeah.
Might forget lyrics while on stage, but I remember that one show I did in 1997. Or actually, that's not true. I wasn't even singing then, but I told someone today because, as of the recording of this, my beloved 49ers are going to the Super Bowl. Even though I actually thought they weren't. I turned the game off, but that's a whole nother podcast. I told someone today, I remember, I had to be reminded today is the anniversary of the last Super Bowl they won in 95.
Really?
It was this date in 95. Steve Young set a record, blah, blah, blah. I remember where I was that day watching that game.
Yeah.
I can remember that, but I literally can forget the words to a song I sing 3 times a week.
Oh, I'm the same way.
And, it's stuff like that. There's weird details that I'll always remember, but I think that's the way it felt with him. Genuine.
Yeah.
He remembers being there. Maybe he had to look up, what was the name of that place again? We played there a few times. We play everywhere. But once he remembered it, he knew.
Yeah.
And that's not something he probably said Tuesday when you saw him.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if they've ever even played Franklin Music Hall before.
Yeah, he didn't.
I'm sure he's played in Phil. I know he's played in Phil.
Oh, yeah.
Before.
But yeah, it just felt genuine with him.
I think they're a genuine band, even if there's some scripted stuff. That any band that's setting up a stage show and tours and timing, there's always scripted stuff. But I think in general, he's genuine about who he is and what this band is for him, and he understands what it is for other people.
Yeah.
So I think that was excellent, and that'll be the end of my Beartooth discussion today.
Yeah, it was we didn't go the whole episode length of that. The Beartooth talk. The next thing I was thinking about, and I wanted to bring up was your first concerts. So.
Oh yeah. This is going to be a sharp turn.
What was your first concert?
I would love it if you went first here because I think I'm going to shock a couple people when I get to it.
My first concert, and I want to say my first legitimate concert because I had gone to like shows at the Hershey Park Amphitheater when that was still a thing.
Right.
But like my first concert that I had a physical ticket and had to go to a theater or
a venue,
a
straight up concert venue.
Yes, was Weird Al at the Performing Arts Center. It was it was when it was the Sovereign Center in Reading.
Right.
It was on the Straight Outta Linwood tour. So right when White and Nerdy hit YouTube.
You win this whole story already without even finishing, but go on.
But it was a surprise gift for me that it was my brother and our friend Michelle and our dad. We were hanging out and they were just like, "Hey, we're gonna go somewhere later." Keep in mind, I was in 3rd grade when this all took place.
Wow. Again, this is going to be a completely different story. We get to
So we all got in the car, and I was like, "Where are we going? Where are we going?" No one would tell me. And we get to Reading. I didn't know what Reading was. Like, I didn't know where Reading was in relation to us. I just knew of the town. And so we get there, and we park in a parking garage, and my brother saw that on the marquee it had his name, and he was trying to keep it as much of a secret as he could, and so he grabs me by the face and covers my eyes and walks me across the street into the venue. And once we got in there, I saw that there was somebody wearing a Weird Al shirt, and then that's when I kind of like clicked 2 and 2 together that I was seeing Weird Al, and then that was my very first show.
That is going to be a very different story from me. Okay, so your first concert, much different than my first concert. Number one, you were a small child still.
Yes. I was 8 years old.
I was into Weird Al then probably 20 years before that, and I've still never seen him. My first concert, and this goes against anything anyone who knows me would understand, was live.
Really?
I saw live in 1994, 95. It's right, there's a small window between when I met my wife and my life now, so there was another life before that, which seems like it was years between when I graduated high school and my wife and I got together.
Yeah.
But it was in fact like a year. But it feels like I did 10 years worth of shit in there.
Yeah.
But I saw live in Bethlehem.
Okay.
With, I don't remember who the first band was, but Sponge was the direct support. And
Live and Sponge.
the only song that I think they were direct support. Maybe they were the third act. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, at the time, only song anybody ever heard was "Plowed,"
Yeah.
and I think that just kind of hit the radio. Live was touring around on their Throwing Copper album,
Okay.
which was at the time, to be fair, my first concert, and I was mostly into hip hop then.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing this rock concert, which is 90s alt rock.
Yeah.
I basically only really liked, at the time, I liked that album. And I'd gotten into that album because I got into Pearl Jam,
Okay.
STP. I didn't really go into Nirvana or Soundgarden side of stuff. You know, but they had got me back into rock music. When I was a kid, I was into it.
Right.
And girlfriend at the time was like, I want to go see this concert. And I bought you. My buddy and his girlfriend was like best friends with my girlfriend.
Okay.
And he's like, let's just go to this concert. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, fine. And I had never seen a show with lights, sound, none of that. Never saw anything like it, just
Yeah.
on TV. Blew me away. Sadly, my love for live disappeared after that album because they just got weird. But yeah, I mean, it was just an amazing thing to be in a concert. We were stage right seating. We were kind of at the angle, so the seats that you don't want, but
Yeah.
we didn't know. But I still felt closer.
Yeah.
Like the way the lights strode with different music. Like I had no idea how lighting worked. None of that stuff back then. I hadn't even
Yeah.
performing wasn't a thought in my eye. I don't know what the phrase. What's the phrase? It doesn't matter. Twinkle in my eye, whatever. So my first concert being live, and then people who knew me after that knowing how much I really didn't care for live, they're like, that doesn't make any sense.
That's why I was very surprised when you said that.
I liked live, and at the time, that album was great, and I actually went back and found their first album they did when they were still kind of York-based, just
Okay.
coming up. That's actually, I think it's called Throwing Copper is the one. Is it Selling the Drama, or is that the one they did? I don't know. That's a song. Been a long time, but Mental Jewelry.
Okay.
It was almost like their EP, or it might have been an LP, but it was their first thing they did. And
Right.
I really fell in love with both those albums, and then I fell out of love because the music just didn't track with what I
appeal
was
to you.
into. But yeah, when people ask me that, I'm like, oh, they probably think it's a Breaking Benjamin concert or something, 2000s
Something
rock
that is
or-
very Bob.
or some people were like, oh, maybe he was Huey Lewis when he was a kid. No, I didn't see him until I was in my 30s either. No, it was Live and Sponge, and I wish I could remember their name of the band because I almost feel like that third band had moderate success in that mid 90s, but I can't. I've never, I never looked it up. I could probably find it now.
Probably.
So I mean, and I don't know if I went to another concert then until I didn't go to another concert then until I was with my wife and we lived in New York, I think.
This will make you laugh. Prior or before going to that Weird Al show, the only other show I had seen before that was at the Hershey Park Amphitheater, and it was Herman's Hermits.
Folks, you can't see my face. But, I had a look. I have looks.
So it was Herman's Hermits at Hershey Park Amphitheater. Then I finally saw with the lights and a full production and everything like that with Weird Al. But then right after that was the Monkees at Hershey Theater.
Also cool. You've had quite the concert going experiences we've talked about before, but that goes a lot with what you like.
Yeah. And it was pointed out to me the other day at work because I had just put on a playlist that's how Spotify makes you the daily mixes.
Yeah, your daily this or that. You know.
And I put a random one on, and it was a playlist of all that 60s era that I love to listen to. So we were listening to the Monkees, the Beatles, the Doors. I'm pretty sure the Mamas and the Papas were in there, and
I would hope so if it's that kind of list.
yeah. And somebody was like, "How old are you?"
Feels that way sometimes.
Because I'm sitting there, fixing things, and I'm like, "Do what diddy diddy dum diddy do."
Nothing wrong with that.
But yeah, so seeing bands like Herman's Hermits and the Monkees and Paul McCartney, when I was front row for Paul McCartney, those were all so cool to see live, even though some of them weren't gigantic productions, much like Weird Al.
Right.
It was still neat to experience those kind of shows because those are people that, in my opinion, I see as pioneers of the music that we listen to now, that rock genre. Before, especially for me, that 80s hair band kind of stuff, there was the Monkees, which they tried to work their way into the glammy kind of sound of the 80s, but seeing those early 60s bands, I think was a very cool experience to see.
Well, it informs you later too. It informs what you like and what you play, and you know, I guess I didn't come back to music till late 90s, early 2000s. That, you know, the new metal scene was huge, so that was the kind of stuff we started to go see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, now I even if I was counting, I'd have lost track now how many concerts I've gone to in the last 20 some years.
Oh,
but,
yeah. Yeah, there's so many concerts now that I kind of like forget that I've been to, not necessarily because they were bad,
because they overlap. They start to get muddled in what you're like. Oh yeah, I was at that show, and when was that show, and who was there, and oh yeah, God, I did see that band when they were just coming up, and now they're huge. Like that happened a lot.
I had that happen recently with Korn because Korn came on the radio, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot I've seen Korn. That was with you.
I don't know how you forget you've seen Korn.
I know. My neck certainly didn't forget that I've seen Korn.
God, what an amazing show even after all these years.
Was that Korn, Chevelle, and Code Orange?
Yes.
That was a cool show. We didn't get to see Code Orange. Or
No.
It's not that we didn't get to see them.
We were tailgating.
We were tailgating.
We have a tailgating problem when we go in groups. If we have time, we tailgate. It is what it's not a problem. It's an obsession.
Now I think lastly, the segueing into that. So we had our first concerts. Now what was our worst concert?
Worst concert. Also live. No. I actually really had a good time. Like I'm looking at. I don't know if I've had an overall worst that whole concert sucked. I've had a lot of shows where I point out, just like the other night, where the sound took me out of it. Yeah. I think it's pretty well known. Anybody who listens to this podcast, I'm a big Breaking Benjamin guy. Mm-hmm. They are my top time. Beartooth is creeping up on them, but I'm double digits for Breaking Benjamin.
Are you really?
Yeah, I saw a show where they were not the head. It was with Korn, actually, right before COVID hit. It was like the last concert I think we saw before COVID. Yeah, it might have been the last thing we got to go to before the shutdown that we didn't know was coming. Yeah. They definitely got the opening band sound in a big arena, and it was kind of shitty, especially for a guy who'd seen them enough to know, and even had seen most of those songs on a pretty similar tour like a year before when I saw them in Hershey. Like, that kind of stuff bothers me. But one band that jumps out that was on a tour that never got anywhere, I don't even know if they're still together anymore. This is probably 10 years ago or more. There was basically like a women in rock kind of tour at the Community Club, and it was Sick Puppies. That's why we went. Lacuna Coil was on there. Okay. And there was a band called Silver, spelled with a C. It was really just even their whole name spelling was bad. It was like SLVER or something. Like it was.
Oh, man, that's edgy.
I'm this isn't me woman bashing or bashing on female singers in rock. There's fucking women that'll do it better than I'll ever do in my life. Yeah. She was awful. The band was not good. I was there with our friend BJ, went because we wanted to see Sick Puppies. Jen was along, some other people. And BJ and I just stood there going, what is this band doing on this tour? Is it just because she's a girl and she had just got a record deal, I guess, something? I looked into them, and if I remember the story correctly, her daddy owned the record label. Oh, okay. It was just the experience of that band. Thankfully, the two bands I wanted to see were later, and it didn't take the whole show down, but it just ruined the mood of the whole room. Yeah. Like, what were they even doing there? And that's I can't think of anything where I was just like the whole show is just like we can go. This is terrible. I've seen local shows where I'm just like, all right, it's time to go. Yeah, same. And to be honest with you, especially original shows, most times I'm going to see a local original show because there's one band, maybe two that I like that I want to see, and it's very rare that one of the other bands catches me. Not because they're not doing their thing, let them do their thing, but there's a reason all of us, including covers, we're all local artists. Yeah. We're not big enough to be in the clubs and in the arenas. We're bar bands. Right. And bar bands aren't great all the time. So I've seen enough shows where I just was like, we can roll. We saw so and so go on as the second band, and the headliner's not good enough for my tastes. Far be it from me to think I'm judge, jury, and executioner on who's good and who's bad. Right. We've had discussions off air because I'm not trying to make anybody mad with my opinions. You know, there are some local bands and even regional bands that I don't care for, and I almost don't understand why other people do. Same. Sometimes it's about the personalities of the band.
Yeah.
You get to know a band, you get to know the guys. I'm not really into their music. These guys are cool to hang out with. Maybe you did a show with them.
Yeah.
And then you start enjoying their stuff because you like them.
Mm-hmm.
But deep down, you never really like their stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's a little disingenuous, a little dishonest to the people. I've always tried to be pretty open with people if they ask me what they think. I would want somebody to tell me if I'm bad.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm not a great, especially solo stuff, the acoustic stuff. I'm not a great guitar player. I'm adequate enough to do playing and singing is a lot harder than anybody gives it any credit for.
Yep.
And I probably, if I was ever in a band where I wasn't the singer, I was just backup, I'd probably be a much better guitar player because I'd spend more time focusing on that.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard to do when you do it like I did, where one day you're just like, I'm going to play and sing in this band now.
Right.
And just did it.
Yeah.
So I've gotten to a comfortable rhythm place. You'll never get any technical stuff out of me. I'm never going to play leads in my life, and I would want somebody to go, dude, that was awful.
Yeah.
Or at least say, it wasn't your best night.
Yeah.
My wife does that for me, and she's honest. So she says, no, it wasn't bad. Then I'm being too hard on myself.
Right.
But she'll, so when someone asks me, that's why I'll go see, I've seen some stuff in the past where it was like my friend's first band or their first show, and they'll ask me to come out, and I'm off. I'm like, yeah, absolutely, I'll come out. And then it's not great.
Yeah.
And I know I just stand there going, please don't come back here and ask me what I think. Not because I'm going to tear them down,
Right.
but I'm going to be honest. And then I have to find the honest way to say, hey, it wasn't great,
Yeah.
without making them feel bad.
Right.
Now, sometimes I can pinpoint it. I can say, hey, man, you guys sounded like shit because this sound guy was too busy, looking at his phone instead of paying attention to what you guys are doing. Or stuff like that. Or, the guitars weren't loud enough or too loud, or, it wasn't mixed right, so it's hard to tell.
Right.
I can find a diplomatic way to say it wasn't great, but I've had some instances where it just wasn't a good band.
Yeah.
And you got one guy in the band who's your friend who's like, it's my old high school buddies, and we got a band back, or whatever. Okay.
You want to be supportive as
I want
much
to
as you
support my
can.
friends, but I don't want them to get a false hope. I wouldn't
Right.
want that.
Yeah.
Honesty, I don't want to be the sheep in the crowd
Yeah.
that just, this is the greatest thing. I know these people, so their music is great.
Yeah.
Is it? Also, every band started somewhere. The best band in the
Every
world was
band
not
started
good.
somewhere.
The best band in the world didn't start good. They're the 4 of us are going to get 5 of us are going to get together. We're going to play this song. Oh my God, it's the best song we've ever written ever. We are amazing. Nobody does that. So judging people harshly is based on people's, point of view or personality. Like,
Right.
some people just like to bitch about stuff. This could very well be, this is very topical right now with the NFL.
Okay.
I'm bringing sports into it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so sick of the Chiefs and Taylor Swift being on TV all night. It's pissing me off.
Right.
Well, folks, I hope I'm not alienating anyone who likes the Chiefs because go Niners. Taylor Swift is on the screen per average 3-hour game less than a minute.
Yeah.
They cut to her when her boyfriend that she's there supporting does something good on the field. They see her happy, which if she wasn't there, they'd cut to his wife and his parents
Yeah.
in the same box. His brother is a famous player, obviously.
Yeah.
Kelsey's brother. He was at the game having to go making he's awesome. He's like the dad that just made good. But they cut to him, and that was okay. They made memes, everything. He's the greatest guy in the world. While Taylor Swift is standing next to him, and nobody's going, she's on the screen again.
Yeah.
They would have cut to the box anyway. The point is, you don't have to like something because everybody else does. I don't like Taylor Swift's music. I don't care one way or the other. She's brilliant as far as business goes.
Oh, yeah.
She made $1 billion on that tour.
Yeah.
She could buy her boyfriend's football team and fire him if they break up.
Oh, absolutely.
She doesn't have to write a song about him.
Yeah.
She can own him.
Yeah.
But you don't have to. We'll start like going on a weird political shit. We're not going there, but there's an idea in this country that I don't like it, so no one else is allowed to like it, and I'm going to say something about it.
Yeah.
Yay, social media. I raised it high earlier about getting bands out there. I'll raise it low for people thinking their opinion matters. It doesn't.
Right.
Your opinion matters to you and your friends. It doesn't matter to the world.
Yeah.
And people saying, I can't believe the NFL will do this. One, they're a business. If Taylor Swift is making all her Swifties all of a sudden want to buy football jerseys and go to see games, get their viewership up, they're going to do that.
Yeah.
They don't care what you think sitting at your couch with your Budweiser. They don't.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't either anymore. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
I don't want to see the Chiefs anymore because I'm just tired of them. I'm tired of the new Patriots being in the Super Bowl every fucking year.
There you go.
God, we better win. Anyway, this podcast could age poorly in a week, 2 weeks. But it's the same thing with going to see a band. Your
Yeah.
opinion, just because you think they're not good, doesn't mean you should go home and keyboard warrior and tell everyone that they're the worst band you've ever seen and fuck these guys and
Yeah.
they didn't play the song I liked or whatever. Who cares?
Yeah.
Thank you for your opinion. Why do you think everybody has to listen to that? And I think you can ruin a band, and you can find your worst show,
Yeah.
and we can talk about our worst show. I was talking about how I did not like that band at all,
Mm-hmm.
but they were generally, the opinion of everyone around me in the room was that they weren't good.
Yeah.
That's different than me being the one guy in the back going, "Yeah, you suck,"
Right.
and then I can yell back like I do every time the few times I've ever had kind of a heckler like that. Thanks for buying a ticket.
Yeah.
Kill 'em with kindness. I had guys in the Breaking Ben tribute early on. We had some internet trolls come after us, and don't ever read the comments, guys. And guys yell in the back, "You don't sound like them." And I would always say, "Hey, I appreciate you paying to get in.
Yeah.
You know, you came in. If you didn't like it from the start, you can leave the room. You can go to another venue, or you can stay and say, I paid for this. I'm staying no matter what." Same with anything on television, or it's sports or show you don't like, or you don't, a fucking political debate, whatever. Turn it off. Go away.
Yeah.
Or keep your opinion, but don't make it everyone else's opinion.
Right.
Don't make honesty. To me, is still more important when it comes to, especially music. No one gets better by being told they're good when they're not.
Right.
Blowing smoke up somebody's ass is not going to make them a better band.
Yeah.
Constructive criticism, honest criticism. Nobody has to be mean. As our favorite guy Kevin Smith says, there's no need to tear somebody down and build yourself up.
Right.
Like talking shit on somebody just so you can feel better about it doesn't matter anything. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure I've done that.
Yeah.
I'm as flawed as any other person. I've made tons of mistakes over the years. I've said things that people shouldn't say, probably. I've done things that would be looked on in today's society as like, oh, what a dick,
Right.
Nobody better dig up my tweets from 20 years ago, whatever they do to celebrities now and have tweets 20 years ago.
Right.
Like, everybody's a product of their time. I grew up in a different time than you did and so on, and I just don't think that you can call something the worst without being able to back it up with honesty.
Yeah.
So that was a really long way around saying the worst show I saw was the Silver Show at the Chameleon on the Women of Rock tour or whatever it was. But Sick Puppies and Lacuna Coil slap, bro, as the kids say. Holy shit.
I'd have to say it's hard to really pinpoint the absolute worst show that I've been to. If we want to go like worst sounding band, I'd have to say Motley Crue. Which for me, being a gigantic Motley Crue fan, says a lot. And it was I want to say it was because of the sound guy, and obviously it was because of Vince Neil. Vince sounds awful. That's a known fact amongst everybody.
The aforementioned internet will show you that, folks.
Oh,
I don't
yes.
think I need to tell you where to look that up.
Like 80s hair metal Abominable Snowman was not doing justice for the band.
Ladies and gentlemen, Motley Crue and the Bumble.
I've seen them twice. I saw them on the farewell tour with Alice Cooper, and then I saw them on the return tour, the return stadium tour, when it was them, Def Leppard, Poison, and Joan Jett. Both times. The first time, sound guy was jacking it all up. Too much high end on, Mick Mars, and then just Vince sounding like absolute garbage. And then same scenario when I saw them on the return tour. There's too much high end on those guitars to the point where it's ear piercing, and Vince can't sing in time. So I stayed for the whole show for both of those because I had other attractions for those shows. Alice Cooper was with them the first time, so obviously I was going to be
clearly
there.
staying for that, yeah.
And then the second go around, Def Leppard was the headliner. So I stayed for Def Leppard because I love Def Leppard. But if we're going showman, like just the overall show, worst was the Scorpions. When I saw them with, it was a really weird lineup. It was them and Megadeth at the Santander Arena. And I wanted to go because I'm a big Megadeth fan. And don't get me wrong, I like the Scorpions, but I like Megadeth more. And I had won tickets on a Facebook contest from the arena, and so I didn't pay anything to go see it. But as soon as Scorpions hit the stage, they were so boring. No, and I've said this before, and people will respond with, "Well, they're old." So is Alice Cooper. That is my biggest response. Is they are around the same age, and Alice Cooper's up there on stage every night getting his head chopped off, running around with a snake, and doing all these theatrics. When the Scorpions are the same age, and they barely take 5 steps through the entire show.
I've had a similar. I mean, I had a similar idea, but not because I did enjoy the show, but we talked about it, I think, before. But back in September, I went to see Kenny Loggins on his farewell tour.
I remember that.
And now, someone I'd never seen in the '80s. I mean, Kenny Loggins was huge in the '80s and kind of informed a lot of what I thought about pop music, along with Huey Lewis. And he is an old man. He knows it.
Yeah.
He could still play and sing great, but he wasn't moving around much. Now, his bandmates did some moving. He did walk around. But whenever he put his guitar down and just trying to walk the stage from the angle, because we could see everything in the seats we had, he wasn't moving real. There was no theatrics there. And
Right.
I know there was a time he was probably a much more energetic man.
Oh, absolutely.
But he was doing everything he could.
Yeah.
And he had slightly younger guys. I say younger. They were probably my age or older, but they weren't, 70.
Yeah.
They did their best to make up the difference. You know what I mean? But when you've got all the guys in the band that are of that age and they have nothing left to give but enough energy to stand there and play and sing, I can see why that would.
And it's not to bash their sound. They sounded phenomenal. But
Right.
if I want to listen to the Scorpions, I'll sit in my car and put the CD on and, listen to what I know the Scorpions sound like. The only entertaining factor with that, at that show for the Scorpions, was their drummer, and that's because they have Mickey D from Motorhead drumming for them.
Okay.
So
This was something of entertainment value to watch.
Oh, he is so entertaining to watch as a drummer. But the final straw, aside from them being boring to watch, they butchered a Motorhead cover. Like, the drummer went ham and did a drum solo, and then they went into Overkill, the Motorhead song. And when, what's his face, Hans, or whatever his name is, the singer.
Gruber?
Yeah, Hans Gruber, when he comes out and starts...
When he jumped off the Nakatomi building?
He comes out and he starts doing Motorhead. I was like, all right, I'm done. Like, it's one thing to do a cover, but when you try to cover somebody like Motorhead, it needs to be done right.
Yeah, you either have to be really spot on with the music and just get it done, or you've got to be spot on vocally and hope nobody notices if there's anything else going on.
Yeah.
But you can't. That's too distinct of not just a band. It's too distinct of a band. Lemmy's voice was a certain way. You just can't. That's a terrible example, or a terrible thing to do at a live show if you're going to cover something, no matter if one of the band members is in the band or not.
Yeah.
So I can see that being an issue.
And a comparison with that to show how covering Motorhead is done right, I had seen Alice Cooper. This was, I think, third or fourth time I had seen Cooper, and he was doing a segment in his shows where he was doing like 3 or 4 covers, and he would cover My Generation by The Who. Then he did Break On Through by The Doors. He did Suffragette City, and then he went into Ace of Spades. But when they did Ace of Spades, he let the bassist sing, and the bassist was able to do that song justice vocally, which I highly appreciated. Not only because they did the cover correctly, what I would say correctly, but they also, like, he didn't have the spotlight just on himself. He allowed somebody else in the band to have a moment where they were the front guy, and Cooper just sang backup for that, which I had a high appreciation for.
Yeah, I like that.
So that was my little praise towards Alice Cooper for this show.
For again at a show, you're saying. Yeah, I think. Well, best show, worst show is the same it's the same opinion. It's based on an opinion. You and I could have been at the same show, which we've done a couple shows like that.
Oh, so
we were just that one.
Yeah.
And we both just said it was the best Beartooth show we've ever seen.
Yeah.
But there was somebody in that crowd who was like, it was better last time.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that person's a fool. No, everybody's opinion is fine. I just got done saying that. I obviously what your best show is not the same as my best show, and so on. Even if we were at every show the same time our whole lives.
Yeah.
And I think that's a musical thing. I mean, you could use it. You can apply it to movies. Sports teams. Whatever. But in our world, I mean, as far as concerts go, I think everybody should have a different experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
We both had a very good experience Saturday night, but we had a different experience too.
Yeah.
You had a different experience because you had just seen the tour. You kind of knew it was coming. You wanted to see it in a different light. You could pay attention to different things.
Yeah.
Like if I saw that show again the next night, I would be looking at different things because I knew it was coming.
That's exactly what I was doing.
So it makes the experience of it. And yours was different than my wife's, which is different than Tim's or Jimmy's. Craig had a different experience because he pushed himself up front of the pit.
Yeah.
Like, we're all at the same place, and we all have, it could have been the best of times, worst of times situation. So,
right.
That's funny to say. We'd have to revisit this because I'll bet it's possible that our best concert could change.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about our best. We talked about our first and our worst.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would call my best, the best concert I've ever seen. I mean, we probably shouldn't talk about that because we just came out with that Beartooth show, and it was, in fact, again, the best we've seen, but one of the best shows I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
So I don't know if, I mean, that would probably rank top 5 shows I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'd put that up there in at least my top 5 best concerts I've seen.
What do you got coming up for shows? We have one.
Yep, we have Elsonville this Friday.
Which,
hold on, let me pull out my calendar because I now have that on my phone.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jake has a digital calendar he's using. Welcome to the year 2000, sir.
Let's see.
24 years late.
Listen, I like being able to write
in
it down
the year
in a piece
2000.
I don't have anything else other than that February.
Which
2nd.
Friday, February 2nd, which this episode will air for the first time, I think. This episode will be up for people to stream before we play the show.
That's crazy. We're finally.
This will be up. It is the 29th. I promise you, this is up and ready for listening viewers. Listening viewers? That's not the thing.
Listening viewers.
Listeners, by the end of this month, or we have broken our own promise of once a month. So, well, if you've got nothing else, I would like to say we're probably way past what we thought we were going to get tonight for a short first episode that someone has to edit in 2 days. But I think we're looking for a strong year. I don't know about you. I'm a little bolstered by the fact that we got nominated.
Yeah.
At first, I didn't know how to feel. I'm not good with accolades. For a guy who's the singer in bands and likes to be in front of people, I'm not good with praise.
Neither am I. I absolutely get so
I
uncomfortable.
feed off of energy in a room of people clapping or telling me what a great job I did with this song or that the band did or whatever. But I don't like adulation. I don't want to be held on a pedestal. Most people think singers do that, and I guess inherently we want to be seen.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be the guy off stage who's like, "Here's your award, sir, and your green jacket because you won the tournament," or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what I'm in it for. And so it was a little weird to be on something like that.
Mm-hmm.
The very first year, the second year, there was almost like they opened up to tell us who you want on the ballot.
Yeah.
And I was informed that someone had told enough of them that I should be on for male vocalist.
Okay.
And at first I was like, that's stupid because I know there's way better guys than me. And I didn't make the final actual ballot.
Yeah.
But the idea that someone, and it wasn't me, like someone told enough people on that page or private message them that they thought, well, at least you're on the running of the ticket, so to speak. So I'm not comfortable with that stuff, but if we win, great. If we don't, we got nominated for something that we just did because we wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And we're certainly not the most professional podcast out there.
Yeah.
But we do what we want in a way that I've been told, and I felt that I never put it into words. But our first couple episodes, everybody's like, you guys naturally have a good conversation about stuff. Yeah. We've been able to bring guests in, which is, I think, are some of our strongest episodes.
Oh, yeah. So shout out to Jimmy.
Yep.
Shout out to Ed, Lauren, Rich.
Yep. And you can check out any of those on our podcast. You can find us on Spotify, Google. I think it's YouTube now. They shut down Google Podcasts, I guess. and moved it all to YouTube.
Yeah, it's something weird like
Apple.
that.
I mean, anywhere you do your podcast, you've got a whole backlog. Like you said, we are episode with Jimmy. Technically 2 episodes with Jimmy because we did a side episode just about Beartooth.
Yep.
Our friend Jimmy Everly, our drummer, Jimmy Everly. Of course, Ed Allison from Lyndhurst came in and talked about their new EP that was coming, a new song, and we hope to get the whole band in at some point.
Yeah.
Um,
We definitely
you
got to
know,
get all of them in here. At
I
some
enjoyed
point.
going down with our guitar maker and my bandmate Rich Campbell at Twin Dix Guitars. Always a shout out to Twin Dix Guitars. They're going to be our first ad. I'll just make a fake ad that they're not even paying for, and I'll just put it on there.
Yeah.
I use my radio voice. Hello, everyone. So I think we had a really strong first year for guys that tried our best to do it once a month, even when we started in April, I think.
Yeah,
And
around there.
we managed to get 10 episodes out in 8 months, so 9 months. So I think we're gonna keep doing this until people tell us to stop, and then we'll keep doing it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we're singers and we do what we want.
Absolutely.
I do what I want. But with that, I guess we're going to wrap it up. So, as always, here we are in Season 2, Year 2, Episode 1. I'm Bob,
I'm Jake.
and this was
Nailed
It
It,
the
the
Podcast. Later.
Nailed it.
It's an honor to be nominated because we're not winning this one.
Yeah, they should give you. I want some sort of plaque for being nominated. I think that's only fair because I'm not going to get the other thing.
You should get a plaque for being nominated.
Send me a airbrush shirt, podcast awards, that say you were nominated.